On October 1st in 1860, the leaders of Sabbatarian former Millerites were meeting in Battle Creek, Michigan. For a number of years, the group had been edging closer towards formal organization, but as a result of the way organized denominations had treated Millerites in the early 1840s, the ex-Millerites were very wary of any organization on the basis that it was an example of Babylon. And of course, the second angel's message of Revelation 14 warns against Babylon, and in Revelation 18, God's people are called to come out of Babylon. So, the idea that organizing another denomination would be partaking of Babylon made Seventh-day Sabbath-keeping Adventists very cautious. Some believed that even choosing a name for themselves would make them Babylon. But starting in late 1853, James and Ellen White had urged their fellow Sabbatarians that some kind of organization was essential, and they had been joined in their appeals by leaders such as Joseph B. Frisbee, Joseph H. Waggoner, and Merritt E. Cornell. Frisbee proposed the name Church of God, but others, including James White, preferred Seventh-day Adventist, a name that had emerged in Michigan in the 1850s. In late September of 1860, a conference of leaders of the nascent Sabbatarian movement met in Battle Creek. But even after 3 days of discussion, they had been largely unable to reach agreement on moves towards organization. On September 30, when they were due to end the conference, Joseph Waggoner appealed to them to stay 1 day more, and they met at dawn on October 1st. Eventually, on that day, so the minutes of the conference record, the name Seventh-day Adventists was proposed as a simple name and one expressive of our faith and position. Following further discussion, David Hewitt, a delegate from Battle Creek, then offered the following resolution: resolved that we take the name of Seventh-day Adventists. But though the name was familiar, his motion aroused hostility. As the minutes record, this resolution was freely discussed. Opposition apparently focused on the wording of the motion, that we take the name, rather than the proposed name itself. Ezra A. Poole, a delegate from New York State, at this point offered an alternative wording. Hewitt withdrew his motion, and Poole's was put: resolved that we call ourselves Seventh-day Adventists. The minutes record, after a somewhat lengthy discussion, the question was called for and the resolution adopted. Apparently, it was acceptable in the eyes of the organization's skeptics for them to call themselves Seventh-day Adventists, but not to take the name of Seventh-day Adventists. It seems that the latter seemed too formal, but that the former was informal enough to alleviate the qualms of the doubters. But in the end, the vote in favor was almost unanimous. All other Seventh-day Adventist organizational structure flows from that one decision. The following year, in 1861, a number of local churches in Michigan formed the Michigan Conference. An example followed in 1862 by Seventh-day Adventist congregations, and we can now call them Seventh-day Adventist, in several other states. Then, in May 1863, the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists was established, marking the founding of the Seventh-day Adventist denomination. That was this week in Adventist history.